pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Yannawar Vyankatesh B sir, Assistant Professor, School of Earth Science, Swami Ramanand, Teerth, Marathwada University, Nanded, Maharashtra. Sir is well qualified researcher, analyzer, and experience in researching, offering 12 years of background as a data analysis reviewer. Sir is also record keeper and project coordinator. Our speaker is intelligent and enterprising professional, always seeking way to streamline or automate the process. Sir utilize advanced technology like remote sensing and GIS in environmental pollution management system. Sir published more than 45 research papers in national and international journals, Scopus, Index, and UGC list kit. Sir has published 4 books and book chapters and edited many books on different areas like environmental pollution, research and urban development. Sir has been done with 3 FDP as a keynote speaker and chair international conference and presented more than 30 research papers in various national and international conferences and attended about 30 faculty development program, workshop and seminar including webinar. We heartily welcome to you, sir. Now it's over to you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you. So, sorry for delay. Actually, some circumstances will happen and the PPT is unable to share from my side. So, Saraduddin sir will help me during the entire session. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
welcome, sir. So, yeah. So, good evening, all of you. This is Dr. Vyankatesh B from School of Earth Sciences from SRTM University. I am going to be teaching you today a research methodology. How is work in research and what are the circumstances over we are using here. Okay. So
go outside. Go outside the box. Click outside the box. I will click that box.
So, little bit help you need to forward the PPT.
Yeah. Sure. You go to the enter box. Outside. Click the box. Yeah. Go to the box. Get it? You can select control and you can select every boxes. Press control and select every boxes. Press control.
Basically, we are focusing on what kind of research we are doing. We generally start research when we require some kind of research in your degree certificates, in your MPhil or in Ph.D. or in whatever the research minor project or major projects over there. So basically we are dealing with that and what are the explanation, what are the acceptations of research, what are the proposed outcomes and what are the various different difficulties over there, we need to figure it out. So as far as here I am going to be explaining exploration, description and explanation regarding this. So getting some information, reading with both topic, discovering some of the main dimensions over there and what are the planning or the structural research in future over there on the concerned topic concern. Then a description of the topic area. So you are basically know about what is the going to be we are dealing with that particular topic, how we are useful that research in that particular subject concern, and what are the different criteria we are going to be dealing over there. So and lastly exploration. We are basically ground truthing, we are making a basically ground truthing over the exploration of that particular topic and that need to be handled over there. Okay, so these are some basic fundamental exploration, description and explanation as a mainly research methodology concern where the type as per the title concern. Next. Next slide concern. So research must. So definitely the word itself, I purposefully used the word here, the research must. Problem must be cleared, recognized. Definitely when we are doing to be research, you must be know about what you have to do in a proper manner. So definitely you are focused about the research must be clear. If you are focused on your research, definitely whatever the outcomes, whatever the circumstances we need to utilize here. Then determine the information already available and what is the further information is required as well as the best approach for obtaining it. So basically when we are going to be dealing starting the research, what is the current status of that research, what is the performed work, we need to figure it out, and what was the post experience about that. So basically past, present and future we need to be analyzed here, and then we are approach, what is the approach of basically we are dealing with that person's particular topic concern, so we are dealing over there for that title concern. Okay, so secondly, to obtain and assess information objectively with the help of informed decisions. Definitely the basic obtain and assess information objectively and help to them form in decision manner. So basically what are the objectives we are going to be dealing over there? Yeah, am I audible? So obtain basic, so basically what are the outcomes we are going to be dealing, what are the problems we are focusing, and what are the objectives we are going to be help in the information regarding the decisions over there. Okay, so next, purpose of research: exploration, gaining some familiarity with the topic, discovering some of its main dimensions, and possibly planning for more structured research. Because what are the explanations we are going to be dealing, so these are the things we are going to be focusing over there. So 6 phases of research: problem information, problem of definition, literature review, selection of research design, subject of data collection and techniques, data gathering and data processing and analysis, and lastly implication, conclusions over there, and recommendations of the further title concern. So basically problem definition means what we are going to be dealing with, the what is your problem. You need to figure out your 4 decision areas, then further go for a literature review of the title concern, then selection of research design and objects of the data collection techniques. Basically, as far as when we are going to be starting a synopsis, when we are going to be starting a MPhil dissertation or whatever you are starting a PG dissertation, so basically we need to figure it out your problems. If you are concerning over the pharmacy sector, as like in COVID concern, we particularly problem with the EPDS, that is a basically tablet basic form of that is used in crocin or any paracetamol tablet. So that is basically concern we are demanding or we are dependent upon over that is China concern. So definitely a problem in the pharmacy like a paracetamol basic composition. Similarly, if you are dealing with the MBA, if you are dealing with the pharmacy, if you are dealing with any social sciences, so that is the current title we need to figure it out. If you are belonging to law, then what is the current situation of law? Just like a uniform civil code is coming, why it is necessary, or something like that. What are the burning issues over there? So we need to figure it out. What is the current situation of problem? Then go for current literature review. What is the current market status of your research? And pastly that work has been done or something is work over there or not. So then go for selection of research and design of the subject and data collection techniques over there. So basically then go for research design. So you need to figure it out a map, or figure it out the techniques, or figure it out a design over there. What we have to implement, what techniques we are going to be dealing with over there. We are going to be a primary researcher, we are going to be secondary researcher, whatever the things we are going to be dealing over there. So then subject concern, what subjects you are going to be dealing, a formal, informal, or whatever the basic science or applied science or pure or a technical one. Then go for data collection techniques, and whatever we are going to be dealing over there, what is the data collection techniques we are going to be dealing over there. So that is the important over there. And then go for a data gathering. Whatever your data collection, then data gather and data processing over there for analysis. So whatever the data you are collected over there, you are during a research period. If you are concerning about MPhil, you have 1 year data. If you are concerning about Ph.D, you have 2 to 3 year data. If you are concerning about major or minor project, it's depend upon duration. You are collecting the data over there for that particular design is over there. So and then implication, conclusions and recommendations of that particular work, whatever we are going to be dealing or whatever you are focusing over there. So that makes sense. So ultimately these are the things we are going to be figure it out during your research concern. Okay. So then next problem of definition. Definitely describe broader context of background, State the objectives of the purpose and inform the reader about the scope of the study, including definition, terms, limitations, and restrictions over there. And reproduces potential criticism and state the hypothesis, etc. So, what is meant by problem? Any difficulties over there? If I just explain one example of a pharmacy sector. Right now, I am going to be dealing with another one example of like banking or finance sector. Recently, whatever is the GDP rate, how is going to be falling down, or what is the banking interest rates over there, FDs, and whatever the stock market has been a little bit conflicted over there for banking sectors, how people are converting from their FDs to mutual funds or something for the share market over there. So that is the current scenario regarding a business management and all the stuff. So that makes sense what is your area of specialization, and that makes sense what is your objective and purpose of that particular research. So that makes sense over there if you are dealing with the title concern. Inform the reader about the scope of the study. Definitely, whatever you are going to be dealing or whatever you are going to be informing, what is the scope of that particular topic and what is the study, including definition, terms, limitations, and restrictions over there as a reader over there for that particular terms and conditions concerned. So reduces potential criticism. Definitely, if you know the title, if you know the basic objectives of the title concern, you are basically reducing the potential criticism over there and state the hypothesis whatever you are going to be dealing. Whenever you are going to be dealing any topic, you are always focusing about the objectives and its hypothesis. Objectives are going to be focused what you are going to be dealing, and focus is about what your hypothesis we are going to be focusing on there. Okay, so this is about the definition of problem in research methodology. Next, literature review. As far as previously concerned, when we are dealing with the title, firstly we go for problem concern, then go for actual condition of the title. That is in nothing but literature review. Giving theoretical, rational problems being studied, what research has been done, and how it relates to the problems over there. So that is helpful to divide the literature into subtopics for case and reading. Then quality and literature should be assessed and be sure to include all well set respected individuals in the research area if any. Definitely. So as far as my knowledge concerned, it has not been changed. Sir, I think I need to change from sir to this, sir. I don't have assessment.
Problem definition is going on.
Literature review.
मोटर है
So this is about the literature review concern. So go for theoretical as well as rational problems. So study what research has been done and how it relates to the problem. Helping the divide and literature to subtopics in case of reading. As well as my area of research concern, you go for worldwide research concern, you go for your state-wise research concern, you go for your country-wise research concern, and whatever the current scenario of that topic, we need to go for assess over there. So basically, generally when we are dealing with research, right now is the scenario you use a recent citation, because whatever you are going to be dealing with the past citations, that citation is not get assessed easily, and that research article is not get assessed easily. And that what does it make sense? That the article doesn't get the citation, and that citation is not a reputed one over here. So quality of literature should be assessed definitely. So whenever you are going to be dealing, you deal with the quality material like elsewhere and Scopus. So that makes sense. You are dealing with that, and that makes sense. You are using a quality material over there, and that makes you sense. You are become a qualitative researcher over there in your field. So be sure include well-respected individuals in the research area if any exist. So be sure about include all well-respected individuals in the research area if they exist. Definitely, you know very well any researcher in your field. Follow them, follow their ideas, how they are working over there. So in short, you copy them for your better future outcomes for as far as literature review concerned. Okay, so next. Selection of research design. Definitely, this is the third title this is the third point I am already concerned about that. Selection of research design. How we are going to be selecting a title Research design indicates the steps what we need to take during the consequences of they will occur. Definitely, if you are dealing with the Ph.D. student, then you need to be prepare a synopsis. And while you are preparing a synopsis, that you need to give a different stages of the research. That is first year, first 6-month report, then second 1.5 year research, and that ultimately you need to give a 5-year or the 4-year plan over there. So how your research going to be carried out, how you are going to be dealing with the statistical work, how you are going to be dealing with your further research analysis during the entire 5 years. So that is nothing but a research design. So as far as I explain what is the standard methods we are going in university in our campus. So initial stage we need to go for RRC, and then initial stage you go for RSC, and then second stage you need to go for RRC. That is the final stage of research involvement, and that furtherwards you need to go for a coursework. If you are qualified the coursework, then go for a preparation of synopsis, and then preparation of synopsis. That stage you need to prepare introduction, whatever the literature we are going to be, and then selection of the research design. So what methods we are going to be analyzing or using, and what kind of techniques we are going to be using over there, and these are the show in a different 6-month period of gap, and that is covered in all 5 years research plan. So that is nothing but a selection of research design in that particular area. Each design can be rely on one or more than data collection techniques. Definitely it is correlated with each other. If you are not completed for stage 1, so you can't correlate with the stage 2. So that makes sense over there during your PhD time. So assess liberality and validity. So assess reliability and validity. Definitely if you are reliable, your data is reliable, then validity of that data is more as compared to other data concerned. So critical consideration and determining methodology in selection of the topic or in selection of the subjects. Critical consideration determining methodology in the selection of subjects. Definitely. Critical consideration always makes sense while you are director. So if you are any methods concerned, that makes sense over there in determining methodology and selection of the topics over there. Because I personally share my experience when I am completed my PhD, or when I am going to be enrolling into my PhD in the year of 2010, that almost our entire university, in our entire department or environment, almost in School of All Sciences, everybody is working with the water resources. That is, someone who is working on surface water, or someone is working dealing with the groundwater resources. So that time I am also a little bit worried about how we are going to be. So one of my friends, or almost he's from another university, he told that almost your area of research is similar, like you are always dealing with the water and all other stuff. So you are doing with the same thing as me. So that time I make concern about I want to work, but I don't want to work in a PhD for my that is concern. So that time I go for air pollution analysis. So determine what is the area of that, choosing the critical evaluation of my subject concern. They told me generally, they generalize the statement. You are almost your university is almost working with the water resources only. So I don't want that criticism or like that. So that sentence makes the sense while you are dealing with the title concern, and that dealing with the your subject and methodology concern. So that makes sense if you are going to be using a UV spectrophotometer, or if you are going to be AS atomic absorption spectrophotometer, or you are going to be using a ICP-OES. So it is depend upon what the content you are going to be analyzing. It is depend upon what the quality material you are going to be investigating in what manner. So that makes sense over there. That makes sense in that manner. Next, so data gathering. After that, you are related with the data gathering. Must how you are going to be making a research over there. Must precise or pre-test of that particular data. Design the sampling scheme, and questionnaires must be coded. Obviously, some questions must be well known by you only, because all questions or all whatever the data, if you are easily understandable to publicly, so that doesn't make sense, and the priority or the what we call the privacy of that data is not over there. So that means the data must be protected. Design the sampling scheme. Definitely you must be designing the sampling scheme over there, and questionnaires must be coded over there. And because when we are using the coding there, so that data you must be analyzed by yourself only. No one can rather than you, because you are going to be generating the data, and anyone is going to be using that doesn't make sense in your research. Next, data processing and analysis, definitely. So whatever the data you must have gathered, whatever the data you have collected over there, that must be processed and analyzed over there for next step of investigation in your Ph.D. or in your MPhil or whatever your major or minor project over there. So describe demographic of the data. Definitely describe the demographics of the data. Definitely the data is what in the format, how demography is going to be changing over there, and what is the phenomena of that particular data is over there. Compare behavior of that particular data if applicable. Choose appropriate statistical techniques if applicable. If you are going to be dealing with the social science, if you have a huge number of data, if you have huge tabular data like geography or social sciences, then you must be go for SPSS, and in SPSS you can handle huge data with a huge number of tables in a fractions of second if you are know about SPSS and all the stuff. So that makes sense. Choose appropriate statistical techniques over there. If you are dealing with Excel, that doesn't make sense, but Excel is not easily capable over there as compared to SPSS. Excel is, but definitely it works better, but it takes some time as compared to SPSS. So that makes sense as per as technical concern. Look up the pattern in data. So whatever the patterns you are going to be using over there, look up the patterns in data. If chi-square test, mean, mode, median, whatever the data we are going to be dealing over there in that particular manner. So these are the three techniques we are going to be dealing with the data processing and data analysis over there. So that makes sense in data analysis over there. Next, interpreting the results. Definitely whatever your outcomes has been come, whatever the outcomes from whatever collected from your data processing, and that makes sense while interpreting the results over there. So in next slide we are going to be dealing interpretation of data. Make sure consider the audience, what kind of audience we are going to be dealing, what kind of people you are going to be reading your work, and that makes sense while interpreting the data of that particular work over there. Discussion and implication of the population of interest and future research. So discussion and implication of the research of the for the population for interest of the future research concern. So what does it make sense? Definitely, if you are going to be dealing with your social areas concern, but social peoples are publicly available or publicly knowable about that particular research work, so that makes sense if they are easily understandable. If you are making a complications over there that the local public is not easy to understand, easily available over there that your particular data is concerned, specifically. So whatever you are going to be dealing, whatever how you are going to be dealing, and that makes sense over there in different manner. Okay, so basically interpretation of data, it depends upon what you are going to be dealing and how data you are going to be interpreting over there. So basically I share one example of my during my Ph.D. time, we had one Nanded municipal corporation's data for analysis concern, but the data has been coded or what we call coded in Adobe what we call Adobe Illustrator and Adobe that generally we are using in engineering section, and that data we are using ArcGIS. So whatever the data they have provided, over there to municipal corporation, that is coded in ArcGIS, and that is not easily utilizable in shape forms. So they are giving the data, but municipal corporation is not able to assess. So they need to assess we people, and that need to be assessed by we people, and then we are going to be explain them how the data is in the form of coded and how the data is evaluated and how we are open in different manner over there. So this is just one example I am share here. So how the different things makes matter over there if you are not able to understand whatever the data they have given to you. And so if you are not known about your audience, you are able to use over there in proper manner. If you are not able to use over there, so you can't able to manage over there in that proper manner as compared to others. So that makes sense whatever the audience you are going to be dealing, and that audience makes sense while dealing in your research over there. Okay, so next. Operational definitions. So variables first defined by conceptual definitions that explain the concept of variable is trying to capture any variables, then defined in operational definitions, which are definitions how variable can be measured. Definition. So definitely variables first can be defined as the conceptual definitions, and then that explain the concept of variable is trying to capture over there. So variables then defined in operational and definitions, which are definitions how much variables will be measured over there. So according to their definitions, according to their operational values, and according to their operational measurements, we need to be figure it out over there. Okay, then dealing with the next slide, language of sampling. So what kind of data we had, what kind of parameters we are going to be dealing, what kind of sampling frame, unit of analysis, sample, statistical. So this is the language of sampling, is nothing but what kind of data we are needed to deal and what kind of sampling we are going to take. If you are going to be dealing with the population data, if you are dealing with the social sciences, then go for population data like geography, entire collection of people, something, etc. Or we can get the data from census over there, or we can get the data in DVR over there in particular district gazette office over there. So then parameters that results from measuring all units in population. Definitely what parameters that results from measuring all units we need to be in a population parameter concern. So sampling frame, specific data from which sample is drawn. So what are the sampling frame over there and sampling data from which sample is drawn there. Definitely an unit of analysis that concern types and objects of interest. Then sample subset of some of the units is in the population, and that static, the more results from measuring the units in the sample. The result from measuring all units in the sample format. Definitely I am just sharing one population geography examples over there, how the peoples are going to be correlated over there, how the results are measuring in the unit format over there, and sampling frame specific data from which sample is drawn over there. So that makes sense. And unit analysis concern, sample concern, and statistical data analysis concern. So let's deal with each of us in separate manner. So firstly deal with the unit analysis. So major entry you are analyzing in your study area, it's type of the object that makes you each data or point. Definitely whatever the units or major entry are analyzing in your study area and all your data, that must be major entity of your area is analyzing in the study, it's type of the object that makes you each data in point. So it is the depending upon what type of object that makes you each of data points, that is individual artifacts like book, photos and newspapers, geographical units, what are the geographical locations and its hotspot concern, and social interactions concern. So social interactions concern what are the social phenomena, social platforms and social individual matters concern over there. So units of error. So 6 points or units of error. In some of the studies, people are collected as groups of rather than the individually. When this is done, the unit of allocation is different from the unit of analysis usually. When we are dealing with a single point concern, that we get more specific about that. And if you are dealing with the more data concern, that is generally usually, that makes the matter, unit of allocation is different from single unit of analysis concern usually. Then this is the sometimes it's called a unit analysis error, and that is nothing but sometimes it's called as a unit analysis error of that particular data concern. And it can be results of studies having newer confidences and intervals of reflecting more and more bits than its appropriate concern. So these are the three different unit analysis concern, and these are the three different analysis things concern. We are definitely more familiar with that particular data, and that makes sense of whatever the data is going to be having with these major errors concern, and that error has been identified by that particular methods concern. So it can be result of studies having a narrow and intervals of time and having newer confidence intervals and receiving more weight of that appropriate data concern. So this is nothing but intervals of data analysis and unit of analysis of data over there. Okay, next, independent of dependent variables. So this is here we are again focusing on depending and independent variables. Independent variable is what is manipulated, and a treatment of a problem or a treatment of a program or a cause, and then a factor concern. And the dependent variables is what affected by independent variable and effect is on outcomes and the factor as compared to independent variables, the measure as a major factor concerns over there in that particular matter concern. So this is about the unit analysis to independent variables, and the independent variables how going to be focusing over there in different manner. Okay. So this is the individual interpretation of that both title concerns, and that individual interpretation has been done over here. So then go for research design and methodology. Research design methodology concern. In general, research design is like a blueprint of the research. Definitely, I previously same explain whatever you are going to be dealing your entire research period of time. So that is nothing but your blueprint of your research work. And research methodology is concerned how design of the implications, how research is carried out during the entire study period or during the entire study period of that time. So this is about the research design and research methodology concern. This is the basic fundamental trick over your research concern. And if you are dealing the research, so that basically fundamentally things you must be know about that in an easy and proper manner. So research design is nothing but in general, research design is nothing but a blueprint of your research, and research methodology nothing concern about design implicated how the research is carried out during the entire study period, during your entire research, during your minor or major projects, during your MPhil and Ph.D. over there, and that's all. Next, a few design, a cross-sectional design, a longitudinal design, a time series design, and parallel design. These are the four things we are going to be dealing with the four few designs concern, pieces concern. So cross-sectional design, longitudinal design, time series design, and parallel design concern. So these are the few designs we are just shown here, and each of which we see in details over there. So cross-sectional design is not the cross-sectional design is used for research data that collects data on relevant variables one time only from a variety of peoples and subjects or phenomena over there. A cross-sectional design provides a snapshot of the variables included in the study and at one particular point in the particular time. And cross-sectional design generally use the survey techniques and gather data. For example, Indian census we are using over there. So this is the cross-sectional designs we are dealing with the population geography concerns or social science concern. So this is nothing but a cross-sectional design is usually used for research that collects the data on relevant variables one time only for a variety of peoples and subjects of or phenomena concern. A cross-sectional design provides a snapshot of the variables included in the study at one particular point in time, and cross-sectional design generally use survey techniques to gather data. In short, example of your Indian census concern, so that use a cross-sectional design to store that particular data concern. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of cross-sectional designs? Advantages of that design is the data on many variables, data from a large number of subjects, data from the disapparated subjects, data on attitude and behavior, data of good and explanatory research, generates hypotheses for future research, data useful to many different researchers over there. And disadvantages: increase the chance to errors, increase the cost with more subjects, and each allocations cannot be measured, change cannot be established, cause and effect, and no control over the independent variables, difficult to rule out a viral hypothesis statistics over there. So these are the advantages and these are the advantages and that are the disadvantages we see here. So basically that both things are depend upon the whatever the data you are going to be reading. That data, if you are having a large number of statistical data, that makes sense. If you are behavior data, that makes sense. If you are good explanatory research, that makes sense. Generates hypothesis over there and research data and data many different researchers over there. So that makes sense. And disadvantages concern increase the chances of errors, increase the cost with more subjects and each of which locations concern, cannot measure the change, cannot establish cause and effects, and no control over independent variables. Like independent variables are going to be changing, so that doesn't make sense when you are going to be dealing with the research data analysis concern. And independent variables is difficult to handle. It's difficult to rule out our viral hypothesis of statistics over there. So then go for a longitudinal design. A longitudinal design collects the data over long periods of time. Measurements are taken on each of the variables over 2 or more distinct time periods, and this allows the researchers to measure change in variables over time. So that makes sense. A longitudinal design collects the data over long period of time. If first one, second, measurements of data taken on each variables over 2 or more distinct time period concern. Third, this allows the researchers to measure design in variables over time period. So that makes sense of these points concerning longitudinal design concern. Then see a time series design concerns over there. Time series design, a design that collects the data on same variables regular intervals time with the form of aggregate measures of about the population. Definitely, I am again coming with the social science example. Generally, whatever the census has been segregated, whatever the census has been generated over to a specific period of time, we noticed that every 10 years we had a population survey over there, and every 10 years we get a census of new copy of your entire populations of your districts, entire populations of your Tehsil, whatever the entire populations of your Maharashtra, or whatever your state concern. That makes sense over there. So that makes sense of time series. So whatever the time interval is there, every 10 years. If you are concerning about seasonal variations, if you are every 1 year you get a rainfall data of every 4 months. So that makes sense. Time series designs are useful for establishing a baseline measure, then describing a chance over time, keeping track of trends, and forecasting future of short term and trends over there. So basically, time series change are useful method for establishing baseline measure. So that makes sense over there. And describing changes over time, keeping track records and trends, and forecasting future short terms and trends over there at that particular title concern. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of title concerns? So data easy to collect, easy to present and in graphs, and easy to interpret in forecast the short trends or showing in trending manners over there. So the disadvantages, the data collection method may be changed over time, difficult to show more research on variables at time, and need to qualitative research to explain fluctuations and assumes the present trends will continue unchanged over there. As compared to advantages, we had a greater disadvantages over there, because we are easy to show in there in a graphs, easy to show in interpret and forecast in short periods of trends in that manner. And disadvantages, the data collection may be changed over there, difficult to show more than one variables at a time, and need to qualitative research to explain fluctuations, assume present trends, and will continue unchanged over there. So these are the some disadvantages of that particular time interval concern. Okay, so then go for a data collection methods for that title concern. So we see here some of the introduction methods of the research methodology over there. So then we are focusing about what is the data collection methods, what are the different data, and how we are going to be focusing over there. So what is the data? Data is a set of values of qualitative or quantitative methods or quantitative variables at one or more persons or one or more objects over there. So data are simply units of information. Data is measured, collected, reported, analyzed, and used to create data visualization such as graphs, tables, and images over there at title concern. So this is nothing but a data concern.
Tomorrow meeting teacher.
So this is about our data concern. Data are simply units of information. Data is measured, collected, reported, and analyzed used in different patterns over concern.
I will try.
So this is about the data collection concern, and this is about your data, whatever you are going to be dealing over there in that particular manner. So this is nothing but the data what we are going to be dealing over there, and these are the different points we are going to be using over there in a proper manner for as per as data concerned. So data is a single point, or data is a multiple point, data is single method or multiple method. Whatever the data you are collected over there, that should be utilized in different manner. And the data will be stored and retrieved when you require demands over there at particular title area concerned. Regarding
this five and this one is previous discuss.
so basically you can have a data without information, but you can't have any information without a data. So that makes this part Daniel P. Morgan. That makes sense for your whatever you are going to be dealing in that particular data. So data is of two types. That is qualitative data, that is the numerical one, and quantitative data is the general one. This is an observation. It's called quantitative data. That is the numerical one. Data is measurable for observations like measuring units, time, space, like that concern. Quantitative based upon numbers, that is 56 to 18 years. Cold drinks like alcohol at least 1 or 4 times a week doesn't tell you why you are when, and that. Only one example I shared you. Alcohol. Yes.
What can you do?
When they are
Speaker, sir. Dr. Venkatesh, sir. Dr. Venkatesh, sir. Dr. Venkatesh, sir. Dear participants, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Sir, you are audible, but I can't hear Venkatesh, sir.
Where is left?
yes, sir.
No, he is still there. Dr. Venkatesh, sir.
The temperature was so cool, but temperature is so hot
There
nowadays.
is some network problem, sir. Actually, our voice was breaking when sir was talking about and clearing.
Yeah, yes. Right, right.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Hello. There is network problem, sir.
Yes, sir, yes.
Hello. Yeah. I'm listening, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Dr. Venkatesh, sir.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah. What about speaker, sir?
I'm listening, sir. I mean, please.
No. I'm talking about speaker, sir. Speaker.
Okay, sir.
I think, sir, Venkatesh, sir, has left the chat, sir.
Okay. So I think he will rejoin. He may rejoin.
Hello. May I not audible, sir?
No audible, sir. No audible.
Yeah, actually, might be some technical issues there. So I am right now audible, na?
Yeah, audible, sir.
Yes, exact.
Yeah. Sorry for inconvenience. I don't know what is happening. So So we are basically dealing with the data collection. So data collections we are again categorized into numerical and non-numerical values. So as far as numerical concerns, we are the data is referred to measurable observations like quantitative one, the based on your numbers, percent of 56% of years old drinks alcohol at least 4 times in a week. That doesn't tell you why and how they consume. So that is one of the example of numerical values how upcoming age are going to be drinking with this particular age and how they are lying to their parents over there. So this is the one of the example I share you in a numerical manner. Height of the grades, weight of the sumo wrestlers, duration of the light, age of the Olympics, distance of plants, money, plant temperature of coffee, etc. where we are going to be is in numerical one. Then the qualitative data concerns categorized one. The qualitative data that doesn't have be arranged in a category based on physical trait, gender, color, analysis. That doesn't need to have any number associated with it. So that it ignore qualitative data more than the details why and when and how we are going to be using that thing. So generally happiness rating is can't measure, gender is can't measure, pass or fail is not changed, eye color, interview, transcript, categories of plants, description, temperature of the coffee, very hot or not, that doesn't make sense over there and that makes sense we can't categorize it into over there. Okay, so next we are dealing with the what is data and how data is collected over there. So it is the process by which the researcher collects the information needed to answer the researcher problem. Then the task of the data collection begins after the research problem has been defined. Definitely, when you are to be focus about your research design, when we are going to be focusing about your research problem, when we had a research problem has been concerned over there. So that is nothing but it is the process by which the researcher collects the information needed as per the research problem concern. So the task of the data collection begins after a research problem has been defined definitely. So researcher when he finalizes the synopsis and that finalizes synopsis is nothing but a research problem definition as figuring out and as per as subject concern. So collecting the data by the researcher must decide which data is collected. Yeah, I am audible, na sir?
Yes, sir, audible. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Into the description, sir.
So secure.
Yeah, in collecting the data, the research is. Yeah, I am on the same slide, sir. In collecting the data researcher must be decide which data is collected, how data is collected, how much data is collected, how will be collected the data, and when the data is collected. How, which, who, and when. So four factors is most important to how the researcher must be decided over there for that particular title concern or that particular area of research concern. Then go for a purpose of the research of the data collection. The purpose of data, definitely, basically in this world we doesn't go for any work without any reasons. So definitely every data, if you are concerning, every data if you are focusing, that have any area of concern. So as far as one example I know purposefully sharing or explaining over here, during the COVID period of time, during COVID period of time, India has banned some of the Chinese applications over there because they have been collecting some kind of information from your Android devices and that can be stored and used for further analysis and investigation purposes for your money transaction concerns and whatever your habitual pattern of seeing of data, how the data you are consumed or watching Android reels or watching some kind of different contents or what exact pattern of your brain has been going to be tackling to that particular internet data or Wi-Fi or internet data or your data concern. So that is nothing but the trend of data using has been monitored by Chinese government or Chinese team over there for particular data monitoring concern. So that is nothing but what purpose you are going to be using of your data collection. So the purpose of data collection is to obtain information. Firstly, what the information you had, then to keep on record, definitely to make a decisions. When you have a record, then if you are able to take a decision over there for that particular data concern. and to about important issues. Then what issues we are going to be dealing over there, and to pass information on the others. So definitely what the information you had, and that information how you are going to be passing over there with a different prospective concern. So methods of data collection, essentially two methods of data collection, primary and secondary. Primary data is the data which are collected by the first time and the original in the character, definitely. So basically science people can go for a primary data analysis, because whatever the data they are generated in the research lab, that is basically called the primary data, and that data is a original.
Dr. Sir.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
May I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay, so okay. So basically that methods of data collection essentially are of two types, primary as well as secondary. Primary data are the data which is collected by first time and are the original in character, and secondary data is secondary data which is already has been collected by someone else. That is nothing but a what it says secondary. It's explain the nature of the data is secondary one, because that primary has initially generated by someone else, and that is utilized by secondary person for their research or literature review concerns over there. Or even though I can share one example, I has a 10-year data of air pollution of Nanded city, and I have submitted over there in my research article. But someone are doing the Ph.D. of research in air pollution of studying over there last 15 years of data. So that doesn't have the 10 years data that can be utilized by my research work over there, but last 10 years data for their research analysis concern. So that is the secondary data which is utilized by of mine, and that has been utilized by them. So that makes sense. That has been cited basically for my data concerns, and that has been data utilized over there for their research concern. So that is the one of the example, and that initial that data is of my is a primary one, but someone is going to be using that make become a secondary one for their research area concern. Okay. So then primary versus secondary data as a comparison, how we are going to be dealing with there. Primary data is real time and secondary data is a past time. Sure about the sources, what the data has been taken from as a primary concern, we are sure about that concern. Not sure about your resources, or not sure about the resources over there. Can answer our research questions. Definitely we can answer over there, because when you know about your research, then we can definitely answer over there that time. Defining the research problem. Definitely whatever the refining the research problem in secondary data, then cost and time consuming as in primary data concern. Definitely, because if you are dealing with the primary data concern, that is basically how we are going to be dealing, how the research basically we are tackling over there, and what is the basic data has been come in using a different resources over there. Then as far as secondary data concern, that is cheap and time not time consuming over there, because and no time concerns over there. And can avoid bias. Definitely if you are dealing with your research, definitely you can avoid bias, because when you are going to be dealing with your research work, you doesn't have any need any data concern or any mislead bias concerns over there. Okay. Then secondary data concerns, no past data, no, we can't avoid bias here ruled out, because the data has been someone already managed over there. We can't have a source of information over there, and we doesn't have any data concerns over there, that particular data concern, and less flexible as compared to primary data. Primary data is more flexible as compared to secondary data over there. So methods of collecting a primary data. So definitely primary data can be collected through observations, surveys, interviews, questionnaires and schedules. So this is the basic primary data collection tools primary data collection techniques and primary collection methods of data by in different points. So let's deal with the first method of observation method. So observation method is major method which data in the field is collected with the help of observation. Definitely. How we are going to be dealing? The words itself indicate the data which is collected by observation method is nothing but an observation method of data collection. By observer, by personally going in the field. Definitely. When we are going to be dealing with the survey, you might be noticed when the construction work was done on the roads, the survey engineers are working over there by their tripod stands and all the steps they are sitting over there. So that making observations and they are observing a ground truthing over there for construction of civil sites or construction roads or buildings etc. over there. So that is nothing but an observation method we are going to be using in the field. Then go for steps and effective to observations. Definitely I stepwise shown here how a different effective methods of observation has been done here. Determine what you need to be observed first. Area of interest you must be focused over there. Then selection of participants, random or selected. How participants they are going to be selected over there, that is a random or selected vote. Conduct the observation. Venue, description, recording material and the photographs. Conduct the observations over there. Complete data collected and analyze the interpretation of data collected. So definitely select the observations, venue, duration, recording material and take photographs and then collect it. Compile the data and analyze the interpret of the data collected. Definitely compile data collected and analyze and interpret the data collected. Definitely compile the data, you analyze the and compile the data, interpret and data you analyzed over there. So that makes sense over there and that makes sense. These steps we are going to be observed in data of observations over there. So types of observation methods, structured observation, unstructured observation are one of the familiar methods that we are going to be studied here. Structured observation, when the observation is characterized by a careful definitions and the units are observed in a predefined manner. The styles of recognizing the observations, information, standardized conditions and observations in selection of related data and of observations over there. So then unstructured observations when it takes place without an above characteristics, not predefined. So definitely here predefined and not predefined word itself, structured and non-structured, careful about the definition. So predefined about the structured observation and non-structured observation not defined over there. And participants observations when the observer is mentioned member of the group which with the observing that participant observations that observer is a member of the group of that particularly participating over there and non-participating observations the observer is not the member of that group that is in the participation which he is observing that it's not participant observations over there. So observer is observing people without giving any information to them as a non-participant observation. Definitely that make a psychological behavior analysis that make a without knowing them how we are going to be analyzing over there. So in short observer observing people without giving any information to them and is a non-participant observation is like that one. So if you are observing any patient, if you are observing any particular event that makes sense like a non-participant observation over there in that particular case concern. So these are the four participant observations, non-participant observations, structure observation and unstructured observations we have seen here. Then go for controlled observations and uncontrolled observations. When the observations takes place in a natural conditions, that is called nothing but uncontrolled observation. It is done God responded picture of the life and persons definitely. And collected observations when observation takes place according to pre-arranged plans, experimental procedure, then it should be controlled observation generally done in a laboratory under controlled conditions over there. So it makes sense. Controlled conditions means what else are controls like what we know chain side, but we can know about that. That is the biotechnology, plant breeding in a particular aseptic conditions, or we can green shades over there, the particular plant concern. And uncontrolled conditions, that is a natural condition, that is the climatic conditions, rainfall and all the stuff, solar light, that is a plant concern. So that is the change in side, not only change in atmospheric conditions, changing the temperature, climate and light over there. Okay, so these are the two different conditions over there for as an observation. So advantages and disadvantages of observation method: produce large quantities of data. All data obtained from observations are usable. The observation technique can be stopped or begin at any time and is relatively expensive, obviously. Not so inspective in the sense whatever the data we required, according to data we need to figure it out, and whatever the techniques we are going to be, all we are to be handled, and whatever the time we are going to be using, we can implement, whatever the time we are going to be able to use, whatever we can stop there. So depending upon the processes over there at that area at the time concerns over there. So these are the advantages of observation method. So disadvantages of observation methods: interviewing selecting subjects may provide more information economically than writing of the spontaneous occurrence of the situation. Extensive training is needed and limitations in information. Definitely, the interviewing selected subject may provide additional information economically than writing a spontaneous occurrence of the situation over there. So intensive training is needed and limitations in the form of information over there. So that makes sense in that particular disadvantages concern. So next, one of the widely used research method designed to collect data is nothing but a survey. So generally when we are dealing with research, when we are dealing with that subject, one of the widely used research method to design and collect the data is a survey. So generally designing is more important in survey concern. So how collect the primary information through survey? A researcher can collect the information through either by observation, either by asking, or either ask information what they say and she is conducting a survey over there. So research is the primary information of by the survey, and how the information has been begin over there by the surveyor in the particular field concern. Then a survey method. A survey is a technique of gathering information or questionnaire those individuals to whom the subject of research belong to representative to the standard question procedure of the aim of the studying relationship among the variables and collecting information about probably describe the whole population. Definitely gathering information by questioning and aim of the studying relationship among the variables. So these are the two questions basically, and these are the two important things we are basically concerns over there in survey method. Then there will be a different ways of conducting our surveys. Survey methods are of different types, in short three types, and that again divided into two different types. That is, a survey method is a telephonic survey, personal survey or electronic survey. You might be familiar with that online survey. Most of the time Google surveys has done. They are asking for some questions, or like a Google Team View or Google Maps over there. They are asking some questions. If you have visited somewhere in the hotel, or if you have visited any institutional, if you have your location and data is on, then Google itself asking some kind of questions here. There is a wheelchair entrance, or there should be a drinking water availability, or there should be a 24/7 electricity supply, or there should be a 24/7 transportation facilities are available. That kind of survey has been done by Google only online way. So in short, a pop-up messages, email or internet concern. As well as telephonic surveys, you might be know about the familiar. So telephonic calls over there, they are asking for if you are doing trading, what kind of trading you are doing, if you are interested in part-time or intraday trading, if you are interested in mutual, if you are, so that kind of data they are generating, and according to that they will call you and they make you their research, or they make their research. And personal surveys in home, you can do computer based personal and interviewing, we are going to be dealing with here. So in short, personal in home and computer assisted personal interviewing over there in short period of time. So these are the some methods of surveys we are going to be dealing over there. So this interview methods. So Apart from these are the three different methods we are going to be needing. Interview is one of the method of survey. Like that, how we are going to be focusing. The interview method of the collecting data involving the presentation of verbal, stimuli and reply in the times of oral verbal responses, where the questions are asked the personally directly to the respondent, and the interviews ask questions to the respondent which is aimed to get information required for study over there. So this is nothing but steps of effective information interview.
Lyrics.
What are the steps of effective interview?
Lip sync.
So prepare the interview schedule, then select the subjects and key respondents and contact with them and analyze the independent data collected from the interview. So these are some tricks over there. So how we are going to be collecting an information and how we are doing the interviews over there at that particular area of the title concern. Then types of interview methods, structured interviews and unstructured methods, as we previously seen. In case of set of procedural questions are there, the structured one. If you are unstructured, so then we doesn't have predefined questions. We are asking like randomly, like news anchor asking how the politicians they like that one. So unstructured interviews are like that one. So focus a group of interviews. Generally structured, unstructured, free flowing interviews over there for group interviews over there, because number of people are standing over there, number of questions we had and we are asking a number of reasons over there. The focus of group is one member, moderator maintain the focus discussions, involve 6 to 10 people, group interviews.
Did you get it? How to write that?
Broad topics with specific issues and relative homogeneous, similar to lifestyle and experiences, general discussions and interactions, listens with the people to say everyone gets a chance to speak in that manner. So research method can be bring together with a small group of consumers, discuss the particular advertising under the audience or guidance and get over interviews as like that. So this is nothing but a group focused group interview over there. So clinical interview. Information is gathered and utilize that every stage of a process, including the
There's the wall makes it lesser.
What do you need to do is
Because we are debating what you are briefing and what we are watching on the screen are completely different.
Special book catalyst.
Okay, just a minute, sir. Sorry for the inconvenience because today I don't have
What?
this will be different.
Sir, I think slides are going accordingly.
Settle is my level.
See, now the clinical
You can change
interview
it.
number 4 is going on.
You don't need to worry about the title right now. You just need to complete the paper. I've completed the
Yes,
renew
sir.
the title.
Slides are
We'll
going accordingly, sir.
Like
Yeah.
we have it is a blueprint, okay, for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that exactly the same path will be following, okay.
Yeah.
Will the flowing structure according to our
So
need.
clinical
If you
interviews
find that
concerns the information is generated
inside
and
the
utilized
structure,
every
we'll
stage
take it. If you
including
can find the
the
information,
activities,
we should remove the
investigation,
structure.
observation, monitoring, diagnostic and planning. As well as treatment and review concern. So in case of doctoring,
It's just for
in
the
case of
reference one.
what
It's not
your
that
group
you
as well
follow
as
that
clinical
one. It's for
concern,
the reference one.
the activities,
If you get
investigation,
the
monitoring,
information inside
diagnosis
this,
and planning, what is the
while searching
treatment
the
is
paper,
over and
that's very good.
has
You
been
need
done
to
over there. So
follow the same
they
path.
also record the plans,
If you
orders,
didn't
procedures
find the
and
information
informal
inside the
observations or
paper
test
structure,
results
and you got
in
searching
opinions
paper,
and
you didn't find
discussion.
anything.
So
we
group
modify it.
interviews concern, it does not having group individuals
It's
is
a new title, new.
interviewed and how the qualitative and quantitative interviews are done. It has been divided on the basis of subject matter, whatever the qualitative and quantitative interviews concerns. Individual interviews
This is a review.
concerns, interview means
You are reading
single
now.
persons as far as
From
the
my book,
interview
yeah.
we had
But
several
it's
persons
same.
over there.
Yeah.
Selections of interviews over there done on the
What time was finished?
selection of people
Now
and jobs over
I'm
there.
going to take some food and I will come back and I will keep here. Would you like to eat something?
No, please.
What's about your food?
No, I already eat
So-
for my afternoon.
You already did it?
Yes.
I will take
As far as the data concern, qualitative and quantitative interviews, it has been divided on the basis of subject matter and whether the qualitative and quantitative data concern and individual interviews must be a single person and interview them, and selection of interviews done on the selection of people for certain jobs over there. Okay, so this is about the Interview types, qualitative and quantitative, and individual interviews and selection of interviews done on the because of the certain job of that particular area of interest concern. So advantages of interview methods, basically in more information of greater depth and can be obtained, resistance can be overcome by skilled interviews and personal information can be obtained over interview methods of that particular in advantages. Disadvantages of interview methods are it is expensive method, interview bias definitely, but if you are not dealing with that particular question, there should be a bias. Respondent bias definitely, if the respondent is not want to clear about the topic, there should be a bias, and time consuming method is definitely one because we need a huge amount of time taking every person's interview over there, and that makes sense. That doesn't make sense if you are dealing with over there. Then lastly, we are going to be dealing with the questionnaire. The term questionnaire refers to instrument for the collection of data usually in written form consisting of pen-closed questions and other inquiries are the response from the subject like a questionnaire is sent by the post or mail. The person is selected the request to answer the question and return them in the questionnaires. Questionnaires consist of a number of questions printed in definite or order or in a form. So questionnaires are the two types, open-ended and closed-ended. So open-ended questions are that doesn't have a specific answer, they need to really figure it out. The closed-ended questions are generally yes and no type, yes and no manner in that way. And that questionnaire is asked by email, asked by question, asked by post or whatever the, and it could be a printed or definite order or in the form of form. So steps of effective questionnaire: prepare questions, format choice and questions, order them and write instructions to make copies. Selection of respondents, random or selected samples, administer the questions, date, time and venue, and tablet data collected, analyze and interpret data, whatever we collected over there. So these are the effective questionnaire pattern: prepare questions, format choice, type, order them in a proper right manner, instrumentation, make copies, select the respondent, random or selected, administer the questions, date, time and venue, evaluate the collected data, analyze them and interpret the data whatever we collected. So in short, the steps of effective questionnaires, that makes sense if you are collecting preparing questionnaires over there. So that makes sense if you are dealing with the questionnaires over there. So types of questionnaires method: open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. I am already explained. It gives the respondent the ability to respond their own words. In short, open-ended questions, it gives the respondent the ability to respond their own words in that form. Closed-ended, we had fixed alternative questions. This allows the respondent to choose one of them as an alternative, like a diagonals or questions or multiple questions like that one. So recently, open-ended questions are open-ended. Exams is my most popular result during the period of time. That is the multiple type of question we are seen over during the COVID period of time. So essentials of good questionnaires should be a short and less time consuming, because if you are good longer questions, we don't entertain for such a questions. Okay. Should be short and simple, follow sequence and questions for easy to one. Technical terms should be avoided. Should provide adequate space to answer in questionnaires. Directions, responding, filling and questionnaires should be given in physical appearance. Quality of paper, color and sequence of the must be clear. Sequence of must be clear of that particular data concern. So that makes sense how we are going to be preparing questionnaires, and questionnaires are how going to be analyzed over there in that particular area concern. So advantages of methods of questionnaire: low cost, even then universe as large is at wide scale. So definitely it's low cost methods of data analysis, low cost methods of data collection, because we can use that method worldwide over there and widespread over the use of internet and all the stuff. Free from interviewer bias, respondent have adequate time to give their answers. Respondent have we are easily approached, can also be reached over continuity, and large samples can be tested over there in large number of people over there. These are some advantages of the questionnaires. Let's see some disadvantages of questionnaires. Time consuming, definitely that we are giving multiple time over there to that particular customers or surveyors. The responsibles need to be educated and cooperated. Definitely, the responsibles, if not educated, they can't answer your question. This method is slow. Definitely, this method is slow, time consuming, and it should be a work slowly. And possibly to unclear replies. Definitely, if the person is not familiar with your answer, that is reply is unclear as well as unclear for your research title concern. So last, the area of research concern is schedules. The similar of questionnaire method, the main difference is schedule is filled by the interpreter who is specially appointed for those purposes. Generally, this method of selection of schedule is done by the malaria doctors in respective areas in as per as our study area. Because during the COVID period of time, the what we call the lady
film I watched.
that is dealing with the what we call
Together too.
Anganwadi Sevika or that survey question
Yeah, no,
that
sir.
schedule led
Well, I watched
my family,
this
my
one.
responsibility
Take my attention.
has been particularly started in
No, no, no,
Maharashtra
no.
for during the
But
COVID
together
period of
it's
that
not-
should be nothing but scheduled surveys.
Oh,
The particular people are coming to you there, they are asking for
Really
animal
action.
suffering from your
action.
cold and that is basically symptoms of COVID that should be utilized in that period of time. So average goes on respondent asking them the questions and questionnaires and order with listed record the responses in the space provided and enumerators must be trained and administrating the schedules. Because that people must be trained over there and how they are going to be dealing with that particular points that has been over concerns as well as area concerns over there. So then questionnaires as well as schedule. What is the difference between there? So questionnaires are generally sent to the mail or no further assistance from the sender. Questionnaires are cheaper method, no response is high, no questionnaire is not to be confirmed in that except the respondent have filled the answers or not. Schedule is the filled by the research incorporator or research worker. Costly requires field workers definitely because scheduled the require one person and requires a workers to deal with that things. Non-responses is low because the scheduler is already working over there and the schedule is identified the person is known because the scheduler know very well how the persons are dealing with that particular problems, how the persons are going to be dealing with that particular incident over there. So questionnaires and schedules as compared over there, questionnaires are very slow, information is collected very on time, schedule late, incorporation is wrong, here dependent is honesty with incorporated, information is more, personal is no personal contact over there, direct personal contact over there in schedule, dependent on the quality of questionnaires, depending upon reality or more correct or complete over the in schedule. Question are used only the respondent is educated is all well qualified. Information can be collected over the illiterate also by according to the schedule. Generally, the schedule method is popular in the law field because the particular law students are going to be focusing over there for that particular data collection concern over there doorstep and that data scheduler is also familiar with the medical field concern that is going to be operated over there. So secondary data collection methods, the data gathered from recorded by someone else. The data has been collected by another purposes. It involves less cost data, time and efforts only. Secondary data is the data being reused usually in different contents. For example, a data from a book. Definitely, we use that tabular data in a different manner. So whatever the data we, according to our use, we are focusing over there in that manner. So secondary data can be an immediate and cost-effective means to gaining valuable insights into research issues and provide that the information comes from the reliable and time sources only, according to Sandy Butista. So that makes the data how we are going to be consuming, how data we are going to be utilizing, and what purpose we are going to be using over that particular data concerns at that. Sources of secondary data collections. Internal sources of secondary data are usually marketing applications, sales records, market making activities, cost information, distributor reports and feedbacks, customer feedbacks over there. So these are the sources of data collections over there like as the internal sources. Sales records, marketing activities, cost information, distributor reports, feedbacks and customer feedbacks over there. So this is the sources of secondary data collections as the internal sources of data. So external sources of data is the external sources of secondary data, that is journals, books, magazines, newspapers, libraries, the internet over there. So secondary data sources. Other sources of secondary data collection is publications of central state, legal government, technical trade and journals, book, magazines, newspaper, reports, publications, industry, banks, stocks, exchange, reports by research scholar, universities, NSCST, public records, or the secondary survey reports that published by generally a GSD office or GDG office or different consultancies that working over there, that particular data or the census data books over there. So that is the secondary data sources over there. So factors can be consumed by before using a secondary data. What factors we need to be focused over there, how we are data is going to be consuming. Reliability of data, who, when, which method and the which time must be investigated, because the data has been generated huge in the market, but what kind of data we need to be tackled, what kind of data you need to be focused over there, so that makes sense over that particular data concern. Second, substantivity of data. Subject, object, scope, nature, originality of data should be studied. If you have the study was with a different objective, then the data is not be suitable for a current study. Definitely. Object, scope, nature and original injuries should be studied as per a subject concern. Different objective, then the data is not suitable for the current study. And the adequacy of data is a level of accuracy. Areas differences, then the data is not adequate of the study. Definitely, the adequacy, how it is adequate. Area of difference that is not adequate in the first study. So, depending what adequacy we further focus about the data that particularly we are using over there. Selection of prepare methods for the collecting of data, nature, scope and objective of the inquiry, availability of the funds, time factor and accuracy we require. So these are the 4 factors selection about proper methods for collection of data, nature, scope and object of inquiry, availability of funds, time factor to concerns, accuracy as well as record concern. That makes sense over there. And advantages of secondary data methods. It is easy of access, low cost, require clarification of research questions and may answer research questions over there. So these are some advantages over there and some of the disadvantages we are going to be dealing. Quality of research, no specific research is needed, incomplete information, no timely delay over there. So basically these are the 4 advantages as well as easy to assess, low cost, require clarification of research and may answer research for a secondary research as well as advantages concern and disadvantages concern. Quality of research, no specific research is needed, implication of information, incomplete information, no timely data has been collected. So what is the data we have available in the market that is utilized. Quality of research we don't know, no specific to researchers needs, because according to your demand no one can prepare the data, according to their demand they have prepared the data. Incomplete information, definitely the information whatever they are generated that is incomplete. You need to complete over there and no timely data is available. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of your secondary data collection of method, and that's all about your today's lecture of research methodology. Thank you. Thank you all of you. Thank you. If you have any questions, let's proceed for that.
Thank you very much, sir. The session is open for discussion. Participants can clarify their doubts in chat box or unmuting the mic. I repeat, the session is open for discussion. Participants can clarify their doubts in chat box or unmuting the mics.
Thank you for the very interactive session, sir. It was really helpful for all of us. Sir, I have no any question right now, but sir, I want to make a request. As the connection was interrupted in the network was interrupted during this session.
Yeah.
So sometimes we were not able to connect with you. So please, can you share this PPT in the group so it would be helpful for all of us actually.
Definitely, sir. And I don't know what is happened. A little bit, I am sorry for that. Saraswati sir, a little bit help me for that, because I am not able to share PPT with my laptop, so that make a little bit problem. Whatever I am going to be dealing, little bit me lagging behind in that duration. Next time, I taking care tomorrow for that particular slide concern, and definitely no doubt concern I am share you the PPT in the group. Definitely.